that which is looking through these eyes is that which is looking through your eyes, those eyes, and that this is God. God is the word that is used to describe the player of this game, of the ultimate reality. And that's what you are. God is you. You're not God, God is you. But not the you you think you are, or the you you feel you are. So the state of human consciousness is knowing what we are not, and not yet knowing who we are. So the stage that could be called human consciousness is exactly that level of self-awareness. Is animals take themselves to be the body, and humans know that they are not the body. So this is where the entire concept of not arises. The source of the not is this intuition, this super conscious understanding that we are not the body. So this has put us in quite a freaking tizzy, quite a situation, very confusing for consciousness to know what it is not and yet not know what it is. The actual knowing of what you are is, at this level, the beingness of it. So knowing as in an intellectual understanding isn't what you are, and doesn't help. So the the next step is being, is realizing it, is the beingness. It's not the, it's ultimate knowingness. So you could say that you know something if you can describe the state. That is the knowing. The manifestation of the knowing is the description of your direct experience. So when you experience self, the frame of reference is the ultimate, so then you basically know everything. Not from an intellectual learning or brainwashing or programming, but through direct description of your experience. So I'm gonna break down very closely the process of not. So we know we're not the body, but we haven't found that which is looking through it. We haven't. You're not being self. You're not being. You're not completely attentive and aware of that which is looking through the eyes. You are more aware of what it is seeing, and you're not aware of from where thoughts arise. You're aware of the thoughts. So you're always aware of the appearances, but you're not aware of from which they arise. So all of these appearances, so the thought realm is consciousness trying to manufacture what you are. So it used to take the physical realm as fundamental reality, but that doesn't work anymore. Quantum physics is an expression of our innate understanding as humans that we are not physical. So, consciousness projected a phenomenon that is not in the physical realm. It's not out here in the three-dimensional realm, in an attempt to manufacture the self. So the not, so here we go. Maya is always a two-step process. That's where the magic takes place. It's sleight of hand, it's magic. It's just twisting something in a couple of steps and leading consciousness into this new direction, right? So when we say something like, I went to work, that is describing, unless they're lying, which is another aspect of thought, because it's half based in reality, but in physical realm, it's half a description, a connection to the physical realm. So that's one step already inferred. I went to work is a description of something in the physical realm, and a phenomenon or an occurrence or an experience. But I did not go to work is a description of the description of going to work. I did not go to work is not relating to any possible occurrence. It's not even possible to not go to work. But the way it infers an inference, and consciousness is fooled into taking it as being as substantial as the physical occurrence in the first place, that the whole system is built upon. So the entire system of I did not go to work, that is a complete fantasy. It wasn't possible for you to go to work. See, it starts with the assumption that it was possible. There was the possibility of not going to work, but that turned out to be incorrect. It was not possible to go to work because it didn't happen. So it creates a fantasy world and it's an expression of the not. It's trying to make that state of human consciousness of the not this. They're trying to make the not the this. You see what I mean? It's trying to manufacture fundamental reality out of the game. It's trying to make this experience, all experience, the reality. But it is the experiencer that is the reality. So the not isn't even related to the description of the physical phenomenon in the first place. It's only describing the negative of that. It's not describing the qualia. So let's say that I went to work is a description of a qualia of the physical realm, right? It made up, that experience made up the physical realm. Even if it's just a description, I went to work. It's a limitation of the potential of everything that could have happened. Everything that did happen. So already it's a limitation. It's all fractal. And once you start getting into it, it starts fractaling really quickly and really easily. So this is why it's very, very tricky when you're messing with reality, with Maya at her game. When you peel back the veil of the workings of Maya, subtlety and care must be taken, because this is it's being revealed to you in a very succinct way, but it's hard because you've never looked at it this closely, right? You've never been exposed to the fundamental workings of language and how it projects the illusion of this being all substantial and real. So it just keeps assuming that there's a fundamental, the assumption is, the first assumption is that the physical realm is real, and even that one is not. See, it's been going for a long time, do you understand? So where we started in this iteration of all the iterations that have happened is that this one started with the physical realm. But this physical realm itself is a simulation, It's not substantial, it's not fundamental reality. And this is the mystery. This is the labyrinth that we have all entered, that I shouldn't even say we have all, that God, that I have entered. And there's nothing but the game. Do you understand? This is all there is. It's the purpose of the game is to conclude the game, to solve the mystery, to escape from the labyrinth. This whole thing is the labyrinth. Everything. It's like your name here is a character on a frame of film within a movie. And the physical character is trying to make the character of the movie is attempting to make the movie real by adding more, by superimposing more descriptions upon it. It thinks that the more descriptions it can put on it, the more ways in which you can describe something, that will make it real, more real. But it's only the appearance. You're paying so much attention to the thoughts of the description that it appears real and substantial because of the attention it is receiving. So again, this is a feedback loop. The content of the thoughts are relevant only to the degree that it can capture and hold your attention. So we just keep going on. So the knot again. We could say that the original thought description of an action in the physical realm of I went to work, that statement is, we could say, the symbols that make up that statement. Whether it's audible symbols of air vibrating or the symbols on a two-dimensional surface, it arises literally from a lesser dimensional realm. It appears literally on a lesser dimensional, two-dimensional realm within this three-dimensional realm. So the original thought, you could say, is half based on an occurrence within the physical realm. It itself is half based on the physical realm and half based in the thought realm. So that, but the physical realm itself is already half. Do you understand? It's already a metaphor. It's already gone through this process. So again, it's just bifurcating, bifurcating, bifurcating every step of the way. Like a virus, it splits and splits and splits, right? So that original thought splits consciousness into accepting that the physical realm, that the thought, it's tricky, right? So basically, the description of the physical occurrence, we could say, is half based in the thought realm and half based in the physical realm. And then the complete thought, it's all based in the thought realm, is the not. See? The not is a description. It's not even a description of the original thought that's relating to the physical realm. It's the inversion of that. It's all it does is take that description and just basically gives it a mirror image and then calls that something. That is somehow a valid, substantial reality. The not. But it's half of half. If the physical realm is already half, or a metaphor, or a simulation, and then the thought about the physical occurrence is again half, so then you have the thought of the not that is half of the half of the half. The not tries to make the thought realm the fundamental realm. That's where it's leading. That's where it's leading all of human consciousness, including you, of course. But it's complete fantasy that has no substantial ground or source to it. It's a Ponzi scheme. Do you see? This entire system, all experience is this Ponzi scheme. It's mirrors facing mirrors, trying to make it substantial. But all that can happen in that situation is infinite redundancy. See, a mirror facing a mirror creates infinite redundancy, does it not? It is the number system. It's this is reflecting this is reflecting this, and the images go out for eternity. But that which is looking into the mirror is the real thing. The not thing is the reality. And the thing that's looking into the mirror, this being the original mirror, is so, although the system itself, see, it sounds like I'm making this shit up, right? It sounds like I'm the one that's coming up with this convoluted idea, model, that doesn't really make sense. But do you see? I am describing as closely as I possibly can the functioning of Maya itself. This is how samsara, this is how you have been fooled, and how all of humanity, all of human consciousness has been duped, fooled by the magician. And you are you agreed to all this, but you have simply forgotten. Just like taking a psychedelic drug. You would go, well, sure, let's do this. And then it takes over, right? It So do not let Maya convince you that what is being said doesn't make sense. It makes sense, but the system itself is not congruent. You see? It's describing the system that creates samsara, the entire illusion, all of it. It's just been revealed to you. So fortunately, to get out of this, to finally break out of the delusion that you are in. You are in a delusion. I don't give a fuck who you are. You, unless you're Eckhart, basically. You're in a state of delusion. If you sit in a chair in a quiet, still room and just try to stop your own thoughts. What is happening? What is happening is that this new realm, this is the programming. It's being programmed. Your consciousness is being programmed to accept the thought, the digital realm and the thought realm. It's shifting into believing that that is the new fundamental reality. But the simplest way to escape this is to... So in the same way that you have no choice but to be affected by gravity and the physical laws of this physical realm, you have no choice but to see what's being seen. You have no choice but to hear what's being heard. You have no choice in so many of these matters, correct? You still have control over the thoughts that are entering your consciousness. But the way it's going is that the thoughts will now be, you will have no choice, just like you have no choice against the force of gravity. You have no choice but to be affected by the force of gravity. And this is the same thing. Like, we've just been so in the same way that you don't have control over the wind that pushes you around, or the gravity that affects you, or what you're seeing and what you're hearing and everything. In the next realm, you will not have any control or choice over the thoughts that enter your consciousness. They will arise and be a force that pulls the strings of your emotions, and that will be the new feeling. That will be the new senses. It will be feelings. That's why you can't hurt anyone's feelings anymore with fucking words. Vibrating sounds hurt people to such a degree that they think it's actually hurting, like a physical hurt, pain. You see what I mean? So, realize this now. Start actually getting control back of, it's not even control. It's the lack of being controlled. You see? You are being programmed. This character, your name here, is being programmed by the thought realm, basically. But you can reverse this process. You can stop it dead in its tracks by what I'm doing now. You see, I've spent thousands of hours with attention on the source from which the thoughts arise. And that is the reality. So with attention on the state, the source of the thoughts, and watching them arise individually, looking with such resolution that you can pick out every thought as it arises individually within consciousness. The awareness itself burns that off. The thought arises, you do not pay attention to it, and without attention, it's like a plant, a seed that doesn't get any water or any sun, and it goes back down, you see. So Roy Dobson is not pushed around in the thought realm by thoughts in the same way that this Roy Dobson, which one is it? Is it the thoughts or the body, right? In the same way that this this has taken itself and all of this to be fundamental reality. So that was the starting point. So it has to adhere to the laws of physics. It's pushed around. This body is affected by gravity and all the laws of physics. It has basically no control over that. But it does have control over the next iteration that's being constructed right now within your consciousness as the programming of all the thought that's half not, the thought that is half, And this is why things like the uncertainty principle pop up. Half, half, half. All of it is half. And that's why it's all metaphor built on metaphor built on metaphor. Simulation built on a simulation built on a simulation. And that is why it's turtles all the way, every time, all the time. It's the system itself. The system itself creates bifurcation. How can you find unification with science that itself is a state, is a process of bifurcation? Science is measurement. Measurement requires two. So what science is trying to do in mathematics and philosophy and religion, all of it, every system of thought that develops into complexity and this infinite redundancy, either outward or inward, so what science will do is it will try to keep using this system of bifurcation to find unity, and then it will bifurcate at the very most fundamental level and create a new realm at a singularity event. Because yes, you can't, yes, all that is created is just appearances. So you could say that, well, that's great, science is actually creating this stuff, but it's all just the appearance, right? The purpose of this game is to find conclusion of this game. See, this is the trap. It's a perfect mystery, puzzle, labyrinth game to play. And God has just told you, you have just told yourself the skinny on all of it.